What up, bro? Welcome to another episode of the BrandonJaneauShow. And like always, on all podcast platforms everywhere, it is the BrandonJaneauShow. Social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, BrandonJaneauShow. And of course, YouTube channel, BrandonJaneauShow. Tonight, it is Life in Times with Music. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. And it is the artist breakdown. Excuse me. Same thing. Been a minute since I've done one of these. Artist breakdown, man. Crazy enough, I haven't done one on this artist, which I am kind of surprised I haven't done one on this artist. Yeah, excuse me. I am kind of surprised I haven't done one on this artist, but since what's been going on, why not? It's the perfect time to do one. You already know. If you are a fan of hip hop, like I am a fan of hip hop, you know what I'm about to get into. You already know what I'm about to talk about. The one, the only K. Dot, Kendrick Lamar. Yes, this beef has been nuts, crazy, and everything in between. But I digress. Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest rappers that have ever picked up a microphone. Despite how I feel about this beef, he is one of the greatest to ever do it. I have always said that I am a bigger fan of J. Cole and Drake than I am Kendrick Lamar. But don't get it twisted. I am a fan of Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar is one of those guys in the industry where you just know where you were when you first heard him. And for me, I started listening to Kendrick Lamar on Take Care. Take Care, Buried Alive interlude by on Take Care. The man was on this album, and man, it was one of the dopest fucking songs to be introduced to me as a fan. Now, of course, Kendrick, of course, had multiple mixtapes before then. Of course, the critically acclaimed Section 80 song project, which also, by the way, has two of his probably to a lot of fans, two of his greatest songs that have ever been placed on a Kendrick Lamar project. Um, Reaganomics, and of course, Higher Power, which was produced by J. Cole. So the man has been one of those guys for years. Um, been in the game for a bit, but 2011, like I said, he ended up on Take Care with Drake, and then out of nowhere, 2012 happens, and he creates a changing of the guard in hip hop that we've never seen at that time, period, and probably still haven't seen it since then. With his critically acclaimed album, one of the greatest debut projects probably of all time. Which, if you count Section 80 now as a number, if his as his first album, you kind of now have to say this is probably not his debut. But in my mind, this is his debut album. So one of the greatest debut rap albums of all time, and that is Good Kid, Mad City. It changed the very nature of what hip hop is standing on to this day as a musician, as a rapper. Um, Good Kid, Mad City comes out in 2012, and it changes the hip hop landscape. Well, 2012, 2013. It was like late 2012, October 2012, I think it was. But really, nobody really got really in tune with the body of work until maybe like 2013. Good Kid, Mad City sets off a chain reaction of just legendary status, man, with songs. Of course, everybody remembers, um, you know, swimming pools when you first heard swimming pools, and it was such a dope fucking song. But my first time really listening to Kendrick Lamar wasn't even swimming pools. It was um his song with Dr. Dre. Um, you know, I think it was shit. Is it LA? I think it is. But him and Dr. Dre had a song. It's not Compton because they got a whole another song on Good Kid, Mad City. But it's another song they did, and they had a video tour. Y'all know what I'm talking about when this video this come out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't remember the fucking name of that song. Um, but yeah, I fuck with that song. I love that song. Also, Dr. Dre is one of my favorite like musical minds ever. So for me to find out that Kendrick Lamar and him are kind of like teaming up, and he's one of the reasons for why Dr. Dre, one of the reasons why Kendrick is even moving in the game. He already had got my love and respect from that moment on. Because if Dr. Dre puts his faith in you, nigga, you doing something. Like, he believed in you that much. Um, but Good Kid, Mad City comes out with classic songs off that project, man. Like I said, Swimming Pools. But then you had songs like Now or Never with him and Mary J. Blige. You had, of course, Poetic Justice with him and Drake. Um, Money Trees was just still one of my favorite songs. Backseat Freestyle, The Art of Pressure, um, uh, what the Song of Thirst, and About to Die, of Dying, um, and of course, Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe, which originally was supposed to feature Lady Gaga, which is still to me to this day is one of the most what the fuck. And what the fuck would that have sounded like? Like that's like it kind of like yo, what if Lady Gaga would have ended up on "Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe"? What the fuck would that have sounded like? That would have been because at that time Lady Gaga was such a massive star too. So for her to give him the look, that would have been dope as a motherfucker. But anyway, I digress. Good Kid, Mad City is a testament to how uh, a moment in hip hop could shift the culture so fast. But he didn't stop there. In 2013, he would drop the bazooka, the fucking atomic missile on the game in a quick little verse on a so-called song called Control on Big Sean's upcoming album Hall of Fame, which that verse alone has started the path that we are on to this day. Stay tuned for that. That song set the precedent. That verse set the precedent of where people really did started to rank Kendrick Lamar. We already know what he said on Control. Named every rapper that was hot at the time. Told them niggas, y'all my niggas, y'all my friends, but this is hip hop, and you niggas should know what time it is. And that goes for Big Crit, J. Cole, J. Crit, Raleigh, ASAP Rocky, Drake. Like, this nigga, Tyler the Creator, Mac Miller. I got love for all you niggas, but I'm trying to murder you niggas. I'm trying to make sure your core fans never hear another word from you niggas. Like, god damn, sir. That is very disrespectful, my nigga. Like, what are you doing? It set the precedent, man, of where people are now at today in this game, especially what is now transpiring in the hip hop world when it comes to those two names, Drake and Kendrick Lamar. But at the same time, Control set the precedent of what Kendrick Lamar's angle was and what he aimed to be. And I think that that is why a lot of people immediately started saying, oh shit, he might be the best rapper out of this era. Because you couldn't deny it. He did say, hey man, this is hip hop and you niggas should know what time it is. Fast forward the clock. 2 years later, Kendrick Lamar is back. And this time, he's dropping another album. And this album is called To Pimp a Butterfly. Now, when you first hear that word, you hear that name, and it's like, okay, that's a weird name to name an album. It's a weird name to name an album. Then you see the cover art, and you're like, okay, this is a weird cover art to put on your album. And then you hit a body of work, and you're like, okay, no, this shit is just different. It's just, like, no, this shit is just different. And at the time in 2015, you got to put into perspective. This is around the time where, um, man, so much turmoil between African Americans and black people, and of course, you know, the police was really starting to amp up. It was really starting to kind of. This was like the first wave of unarmed black kids and black people getting killed by the police. So for Kendrick Lamar to come out of nowhere with an album like this, and the first single is so nice and it's so cool and it's so up tempo, man. It's using the iconic, Osley Brothers sample. Who's that lady? You know, as the launching point for the song, and then the song comes out, and it's such an amazing song. It's up tempo, it's great, and Kendrick's pretty much talking about self love and just loving yourself and being who you need to be for you. And then we hear, and then the album comes out, and then he drops a song that is a some people would say a rallying call uh, for the black community. And all right comes out, and it just, whoo, boy, that set the precedent of what this album and pretty much where the culture was going after that. All right is an amazing song, incredible song. The video is amazing to watch and see it in its totality. I remember him performing at this song at the BET Awards in 20, I want to say 15, 2016. Him standing on the police car, just rapping, legendary, man. Um, To Pimp a Butterfly goes on to become one of the most critically acclaimed projects again from Kendrick Lamar. Man, he just drops amazing bodies of work. I've never once said that the man don't drop amazing bodies of work. With songs like, of course, All Right and You, These Walls, which is fucking phenomenal. Black of the Berry, legendary, bro. How much a dollar really costs? Like, bro, with Ryan Osley on there, Mr. Biggs himself on the song, man. That album is a, again a very telltale sign of where the culture was at the time. Which leads into you know a couple of collaborations. One is Classic Man remix, which is at the time Classic Man was one of the most fire songs on there by Jandetta. Oh, I forgot that nigga name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But Classic Man remix comes out, he kills it, dominant song. But then on top of that, he drops also a verse on Taylor Swift's Bad Blood, which at the time was kind of like, what the fuck? Wait a minute, Kendrick, you working with Taylor Swift? Like, eh? It didn't make sense at the time. That's all I'm saying. It didn't make sense at the time. Again, he takes off, takes a break, leaves. But in 20, um, 16, 17, the Black Panther movie comes out, and Kendrick Lamar and his label TDE gets the incredible opportunity to pretty much put the legacies to the test and drops one of the most incredible soundtracks that we've heard in years for a fucking movie in the Black Panther soundtrack. And on this soundtrack, you have songs like All the Stars and Pray for Me with The Weeknd and SZA, and you know, um, just amazing songs on this body of work, which leads into which leads into his other album that set the precedent of albums at the time, Damn. And I feel like Damn is more of the most creative, like commercially charged albums that Kendrick actually tried to make. It was one of the most creative, like commercial driven albums because you had songs on there like Humble, you had songs on there like Loyalty or Rihanna, you had Love on there, you had DNA. It felt like an album that he was trying to make for the radio, for the Billboard charts, all of these songs, and then he gets that love. He shows you he can do it, and Damn is one of my favorite bodies of work by Kendrick. It's my favorite album by Kendrick, to be honest with y'all. More than Get Kid, Mad City, more than To Pimp a Butterfly. I think Damn is one of those albums, and yeah, maybe because I do at the time was listening more to the radio, but it was damn near impossible not to fuck with that album, man. And I did not like that album. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not like Damn when it first came out. I can literally pull up Facebook moments saying I don't know about this album, Kendrick. But again, this was one of those I had to shut the fuck up and just go listen to the fucking body of work. And with songs like, of course, like I said, DNA, Love, Loyalty, all that shit on there, Humble, all that shit. But then you had songs like Yeah, 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 like songs like that, man. All them songs on that project, man. That was a hell of a body of work by Kendrick Lamar, man. Fear, Duckwork, which is probably one of the best storytelling songs I think I've ever heard in my life. That one, that one, and For Your Eyes Only by J. Cole is like modern day storytelling at its finest when it comes to rap. Um, but again, Damn is such an amazing body of work. But then Kendrick kind of takes this break again. He leaves, excuse me, but before he leaves, he drops a couple of verses. One verse in particular is from Maroon 5. Um, and I thought that song heavy because I love Maroon 5, which I will be doing an artist breakdown on theirs too. Um, but yeah, man, I fuck with Maroon 5. And I like the song, man. That song was really dope. Um, which goes into so like I said, Kendrick takes this long, super long break, and then when he finally does come, well, he also dropped in between all of that Untitled album, but when he finally does come back into the game, he drops Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper, and I've been on record in numerous times I've done this about Kendrick Lamar, and I literally said if he did Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper first half and just gave me Count Me Out as the last song off the body of work, Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper might be one of the greatest albums that we've had in a minute. I did not listen to the second half of that album, so it was just like, okay, I don't really care that much. But Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper has some amazing songs on there, Father Time and Purple Hearts and We Cry Together and N95 and um, Count Me Out. You know, songs like that, man. Pretty good production too. Like, and of course he also drops Family Ties with Baby Keith, which is his cousin. So it just tells you all you need to know about this man. This man is one of them, man. Out of all of the times Kendrick Lamar has dropped albums, man, all of his albums have been either critically acclaimed, one of the greatest rap albums of the time period. The man is a pro. I don't even want to say the word because I know I'm gonna fuck it up. But which brings us to today, man. Kendrick Lamar is also working on an upcoming album, an upcoming body of work, but also he is now engaged in one of the most, just like everything he does, one of the greatest things we've ever heard in a long fucking time. Hip hop is back. Kendrick is back. Rap music is back. And right now, in this time period of the music industry, Kendrick Lamar is showing why he's one of those guys, one of the greats. Um, I'm proud to live in that era right now with Kendrick Lamar. Very proud of it. No matter how I sometimes deem him in the eyes of people, he's still one of the greatest to ever do it. And I will always sit there and tell you that. Like I said, he's third on my list when it comes to this era. I think J. Cole is better than him in rapping. I think Drake's a better artist than him. But when it comes to content creation and the way that he builds his albums out, he's one of those dudes, man. And I'm very, like I said, very proud that I live in an era where Kendrick Lamar is that fucking dude. Um, so hell yeah, man. I am very proud of this situation, man. So um, I can't wait to hear his next album. I think it's gonna be really dope to see what he does with that next album. Where he goes from here, technically, with the next album. I don't want to hear a whole diss album. I don't need that shit. I need Kendrick to get back to Kendrick at some point. And yeah. Um, Next thing I'll do for Kendrick Lamar is stay tuned for that because I will be doing my top 10 songs for Kendrick Lamar. At the end of the day, man, Kendrick is one of the greatest to ever do it. Um, there is no questions about his legendary status as a rapper, the rapper. And if you have learned anything about this recent time period we're living in when it comes to Kendrick Lamar's music, is that he's always ready to go. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with this upcoming album. And this is the Brandon Janu Show. This is the artist breakdown. Go listen to some Kendrick Lamar. Of course, go listen to all of his new diss records. All musical platforms. And I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Peace.